So a lot of people ask me after workshopping with me why I put such a premium on warm-ups, and we spend almost maybe 30, 40 minutes just on the warm-up alone. And for me, warm-ups are all about connectivity and building a confidence in the room. A warm-up, a truly good warm-up, should create a culture of yes, so that we can put any stupid seed of an idea in the center of that culture and that soil, and it will root and actually grow, and we'll see tendrils come off of it. But in order to get that room feeling warm in those ways and feeling that connection, it's important that we do things that actually connect with one another. When we're in the city, especially a metropolis like New York, I think the first few days we're here, we learn right away not to make meaningful eye contact. And in fact, to kind of have a glaze over our eyes at all times, so that we're not inviting in strangers or weirdos or knives into our lives that put us in a dangerous spot. But that carries with us into an improv rehearsal space where we're supposed to be connecting and make meaningful eye contact, but instead we have this gunk that's getting between us and our scene partner. So there is this disconnect. And sometimes over the course of the 2 or 3 hour rehearsal, you'll see that gunk kind of slowly dripping away because the trust is built up in the room. But then you're finally starting to feel good and the exercise or the rehearsal is done. So I like to get people up and moving right away so that there is this culture of yes being built, and that there is a real emphasis and premium being placed on connectivity, so that we are mirroring a lot, actually assimilating what we're seeing, so that there is a direct feedback loop. Almost when you take a microphone and point it at a speaker and you get that wailing noise, we want that same live wire feel that feels and lets us know just in sound that we are taking in one another and responding and reacting. Now, when I think about additionals of why we might get warmed up, if you think of classic warm-ups like 7 things that are in a mobster's glove box, and then people all do this, and then somebody's on the spot so they roll their eyes up into their head, actually searching for ideas. This actually distances us from our group, because it puts the individual in their own head, literally rolling back to think of ideas. And this is where invention comes from. And we want actually to find discovery when we're doing improv. We want to look at somebody else and be, inspired by them. That's where true discovery comes from, is by placing this premium on connection. So I try not to do these list ideas. I try to do things that are more ensemble based, so that we get this feeling that we're in a hall of mirrors and that not a single movement is lost without being emulated and vibrated back to us. And I think that goes a long way towards creating this connection and confidence in the room. And that empowers us to make even stronger choices, because we realize, oh, people are listening to me, people are watching me. And it coaxes out of us even more and more bravery. On top of that, when you think of like sports, like wrestling or volleyball, often in your first few, practices, the coaches will have you do a ton of wind sprints. And I actually think the idea behind that is to get people to huff and puff together, because when we get our hearts beating at the same pace, when we actually break a sweat, there is this moment where we actually learned, because we've been through the shit together, we actually trust each other more. And there's this theory that if you were to take 2 separate heart cells from 2 different hearts and put them in a petri dish together, they might be beating at their own throb and nature, but within a few moments, they'll actually synchronize. And so this kind of profound idea of like synchronicity and being able to almost and not only interpret but anticipate each other's moves, it will be easier to achieve that when we actually get warm, when we actually break a sweat, and when we actually connect and get rid of this gunk.